FLIKO! Okay, so I had a session set up with somebody. Somebody asked me if I wanted to work with this artist. I said, yeah, love her voice, would love to do it. It's not anybody you've seen me be friends with. It's not someone I've ever, it's not someone I follow on the internet. It's not somebody that you've ever seen me tweeting with or anything like that. This person comes to the session, it was here, and when they get here, they have 3 bags of different things. And I was like, oh, maybe they just came from somewhere, or maybe they're going somewhere after this. I don't know. It wasn't it's not I'm not talking about Birkins. I mean, just big ass, not trash bags either, but just big ass, almost like IKEA bag kind of vibes. Just big random bags. And they come in, and I didn't think anything weird about it. I was just oh, okay, you got a lot of stuff, whatever, all good. And they come in, they're really nice, and we're talking. I'm like, hey, what's up? What are you been working on? How you feeling? This and that. And they were like, oh, they answered with some real crazy hippie shit off top. It was the first answer was the universe has just been throwing things my way or some shit. I was like, all right, tight. Let's talk about music. So we started talking about music, and they sit down Indian style. Don't sit in any of the chairs or anything. They sit down Indian style on the floor. And I'm like, my dog pissed there They sit down Indian style on the floor, and we're kind of just talking.
Yes.
And they instantly start taking stuff out of one of the bags. And they start taking shit out of one of the bags. And it's almost like a, what are those things called? Like a steel drum with little mallets. And they take a steel drum with a little mallet, and they put it over on one of the tables. And then they take out this little weird percussion thing. And they put it out on one of the tables. And I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to record some of this shit. That's kind of tight. But it all kind of looks like shit that you would get at the airport leaving a country that really makes these instruments. They didn't seem like legit versions. When you see those congas and they have pictures of animals around them, and it's got the Rainforest Cafe logo on it, but it's a djembe, authentic djembe. You're like, this shit is not authentic, Sam Ash. And they put all this shit around everywhere. And then they're like, hold on, I'm gonna go put these strawberries in the fridge. And I was like, what? How do you even know there's a fridge? What? And then they went and they put a bunch of strawberries in the fridge. And then they came back in, and they went to one of their other bags. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to just start making the beat. So I'm just figuring all right, no, thinking about what's going on in the situation so far, I bet you love acoustic guitar. Let me just pull up some fucking acoustic guitars I've recorded. So I'm over here just making a beat. And so I start making this beat, whatever. And they're going through their other bag, and I'm kind of just over here, and I'm working, touching this, working, and they're sitting on the floor kind of over here, closer to the roads. So I'm just working. At one point I turn over, and I knew that they were going through one of their bags, but I never saw what they took out of their other bag. I turn over, and they have a small easel this big set up on the floor with a little canvas, and there's a little white canvas. This is 100% true story. Dylan was here for this. Dylan was literally here when this happened. I'm literally over here making a beat. I can't see what's behind me. I'm over here just working, looking at Ableton. And this person was already had been sitting on the floor the whole time. So I figured they're just over there writing in a notebook, writing a song. You know what I mean? I'm probably 15 minutes into the beat before I realized that they set up an easel. So I'm making this beat. I look over, and they're literally just sitting on the floor, Indian style, painting, oil painting on the floor. My first thought is if you spill paint on my rug, I'm deleting this beat. I turn around, and I think when I turned around, I was kind of just because my first thought was where the f*** did you get a whole, you had the whole setup. She had the little, she was had the little thing with the water. I'm like, how would you that? So one of those bags was just art supplies. One was fake, foreign instruments. And the other bag was just full of farmer's market strawberries, but only strawberries, not an assortment of different fruits and berries and cool snacks and you know what I mean? Fresh stuff to eat, just mad strawberries, pounds of strawberries. Only weird. Almost you're going to go set up a cart to sell all these strawberries later. It was a lot of strawberries. So 3 bags, 1 bag full of random instruments, 1 bag full of art supplies, and 1 bag full of strawberries. there's equally as much strawberries as there are art supplies and musical instruments, like same amount of pounds of strawberries. At this point, I'm like, I've like given up. At this point, I turn around, I'm like making this beat, and the beat's almost done, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna put some RC20 on this, call it a day. I'm gonna throw a chime in the intro. Maybe 10 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by since I turned around and was like, hey, like I'm pretty done. I'm all good. Let me know when you're ready. Like no rush, but let me know when you're ready. And so I'm literally like, what the fuck is going on? How did I get into this vibe? Like did they tell this person that this is like how I normally work? Like it's been like 10, 15 minutes since I've been done with the beat. So the session's already like an hour and 10 minutes, hour, 20 minutes into the session. At one point they were like playing the steel drum out of key. But besides that, there's been no musical involvement. Nothing. I've been over here making a beat. We talked for like the first 15 minutes, and then they've been literally just doing brush strokes and oil painting the whole time. So they go, okay, I'm going to go meditate for a sec, and then maybe we could try some shit. And I'm like, all right, if that's your process, all good. They went outside. They found the nearest patch of grass, and they laid face down in the grass. I'm not, when I say I'm not kidding, I swear to, they were face down in the grass. I literally go inside. I grab Dylan. I go, Dylan, go look out in that patch of grass outside of the studio. Dylan, there's like a little window that you can look through and you can see the studio. Dylan looks through the window and this artist is face down. You guys have not named the person in the chat. You don't know who it is. No one's named them yet. They're face down in the grass. When I think of meditation, I don't know. I just think of like yoga poses and like, it seems so gnarly that it was just like face down, pencil dive body. And I grab Dylan, I go tell Dylan, I'm like, yo, Dylan, look outside. Dylan's like, what's going on? Like Dylan went to grab the door to be like, yo, are they all right? Like thought they had fallen. And I was like, no. They put themselves in that position. They've been there for 10 minutes already. Face down, 10 minutes in the grass. I just go back in the studio. Someone said, are you for real? I swear on everything. On my dad. I swear on everything. This is a true story. On everything. I go back in the studio. They probably meditated for like 30 minutes. They come back in the studio with a bowl that my mom gave me. Like this bowl that my mom had a bowl that she got for her wedding. And it's like this Italian bowl. I keep like fruit in it in my kitchen. The artist comes back in with the bowl. The bowl is full of 2 pounds, at least 3 pounds of strawberries. You know those cases that have the strawberries in them that you buy and you never eat all the strawberries, like that are this big at the grocery store? It's at least 4 of those. Brings this bowl back in full of fucking strawberries. All those strawberries that were in the bag earlier, the giant bag of strawberries. Like the farmer's market, set up a stand by yourself and sell strawberries for 6 hours, amount of strawberries. And then they came in and they're just eating mad strawberries sitting there. And they're like, all right, like, can I hear the beat? Can you play? What is the beat? What's the chord? Like, what key was in it? Like, what? So I go back in and I'm like, let's just see. Maybe it'll be good. They go in. They try 2 takes, which means mostly people will try a bunch of shit till they get an idea of like a melody or rhythm or some stuff. Then they go back, then they'll write to it. Then try 2 takes of just like random humming and like random little like runs, like not melodies that would be a melody that you would sing a hook to, or you would sing a verse to, or an intro part. Just like, woo, like random little runs and shit. And then came out and was like, okay, cool. Can you send me that? Yep. It was so nice to meet you. Like, this has been amazing. Today's been great. Like, like, send me that. I'm gonna write to it, and then like we should get back like soon and work. Yeah, totally. I just sent it to you. You got it. There's the link. Guys, I know there might be some people in here who are thinking like, oh, Kenny, you're being a little bit insensitive. Like, people have different processes. Maybe they're just this kind of person. Maybe they're very spiritual. Maybe they're, you know what I mean? And just in touch in a different way. I understand all that. I got friends who are like that. Trust me. I have friends who work different ways, who need a lot of relaxation and stuff before they make music. This is now at a point where like you're kind of wasting time, and it's kind of wasting my time because we have not spoken about music at all. So I'm not trying to be insensitive when people have their own process or people just have their own thing. I get it. I am a producer and I'm always there for any type of artists that I'm working with to do their own thing. But this shit was just wasting my time at this point. I'm like, yo, you just dipped for 35 minutes to lay face down in the grass. Like,